You are now about to witness the awesome, crushing might. Look at that dog, it's like a lizard. Oh! Yes, my friends. Welcome to a show that apparently, seemingly, almost at least until number 251 never ends. Knuckle Up, number 270. I am your host, Eugene S. With the S standing for suspicion, and stigmata. Calling of the just. As far as I know, the only people selling it in the world, Revelation Records. Maybe Amazon, I don't know. Huntington Beach, record label. CD is called Calling of the Just. The song is called Intro. All of Nothing. Bob Riley from Albany, New York, close to Buffalo, where UFC 210 was, singing the words that kick it all off. All off. Get ready. Buckle up or knuckle up. That's how good I am. I just made that up. I'm on my way back from nowhere. Could not see so clear. A real good look at you. I'm taking a real good look at your face. So being paid back and forth, always nothing. All right, my friends. All right. Those of you who follow me at Eugene S. Robinson on the Twitter thing, we're watching my thoughts, feelings, emotions, and impressions as we got through this latest dizzy dollop of druggery called UFC. Not drudgery, druggery, because MMA is a drug that we are hooked on. A UFC 210 specifically, you got a vague sense of where I'm going with this, but you know, as per usual, toward the end, I stop. Let me give you the MO. Toward the end, you notice my tweets drop off. Stop responding, stop tweeting, because now I go into show mode. And the show mode at that point is I start absorbing. It's like I've taken the drug. Now, what they used to talk about with LSD or psychoactives, it's the most specifically important thing, SNS. Set and setting. Now, I've already dealt with the set. That would be specifically UFC 210. Now, I got to take in the setting. That means elements of the post-fight presser, elements of things that tweeted that. And I could have done it earlier this morning because I was up early this morning with my mind aflame. Could have done it earlier this morning, but I said, no. I want to go train. I want to do the collective kind of information thing. You realize specifically, I used to be an autarkist. I bit my tongue in jiu-jitsu, so the tip of it hurts. Autarky, the rule of the radically individual. Some of you who follow the show will know where I'm going with this. Chuck Dukowski used to play bass for Black Flag, called bullshit on that. He goes, that Clint Eastwood fucking John Wayne bullshit is exactly that. It's bullshit. None of us make it alone. None of us. The rule of the radically individual, not even. That shit's in movies. You take 100 babies, put them in a field, you come back 100 days later, they're all dead. So start with that. We have the only reason that humans happen to be apex predators, human against a mastodon, no. 10 humans with sticks, traps, and rocks, yes. Collective action. So I'm waiting. I'm taking a variety of influence. The tweets, the text, for those of you who are lucky enough to, oh, isn't that cute? Look at it. Look at it. I've got some prison rape scenes on the back of my phone. Anyway, so I'm taking them on, and I'm sitting and reading and thinking right up to this very show, and then I come to a conclusion, and that conclusion is what we call round number 270. So let's get with it. Sad news is I can't find my tote sheet, but those of you who watch the Care Don't Care preview this week will tell me if I'm on or off vis-a-vis my picks. But at this point now, we don't even have time to run through the card because we have to address the shit. And you know where I'm going with this. We have to address the shit. So it's not going to be a fight-by-fight recitation of rightness or wrongness. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got everything to do with everything else. So I know what you're expecting. The other thing is not going to happen. Let me explain something to you very specifically right now at the offset. We are talking about the fight game. Now, the fight game is a superset, right? There are very specific elements of the fight game that have to function before you have the fight game functioning, right? It's like Christopher Browning said in his answer book to Daniel Goldhagen's Hitler's Willing Executioners. He said, look, Hitler doesn't invade Poland without testing the waters to see if with rearmament and kicking in the factories in the Rhineland to start making weapons again, violation of the Treaty of Versailles, whether they come down on the Nazis for it. They do nothing. Baby steps. If you remember What About Bob? Baby steps. They make a big stink. They start amassing troops on the borders. Hitler folds. The time is not right. Providence dictates that the time is not right. So all of these things have to happen in the right way, in the right time for the fight game, this delicate machinery, this delicate chemistry, this fine drug that we're so used to taking for it to work right. The three major subsets of that, considering that the fight game is composed of fighters, men, women, who are willing to do this thing inside of an octagon or cage or depending on a ring, wherever they are, that has very much to do with one distinct set of skill sets against another kind of collection of skill sets. So you have three functioning engines that drive the fighters who compose the fight game. So now if you were looking at it, so we got a big thing here, and as we zero in on like the Venn diagram, these different sections, the fighter, so we got the fight game, pretty much with a circle that's exactly like the fight game. You've got the fighters, and the functioning engines between the fighters. You want to cut that into three sections. I wish I had a slideshow. I could do an Excel spreadsheet or some kind of slideshow thing. Those three sections are broken down into the head game, the body game, and the business game. Right? Now, in rare instances, and you might not have put this together, it's like going to a Nobu or some other fine, fancy eatery where people are talking, Aquavit in New York, or where people are hot. Oh, this is the hottest place to go. You don't know why it's great, but it's great. Even something like the water tastes better. There's a company in Austin, Texas. They sell rainwater. That's really good. I'm not bullshitting you. You taste it, you can taste the difference. That comes in your glass. Already your experience is fundamentally different because you're drinking water that tastes unlike water you've had before. That's what happens when we see a McG. He's firing on all those little, I guess you can't call them quadrants because there are only three of them. Whatever. Quadrant, whatever. You know what I mean? He has got the head game. He has got the body game. In other words, he has not only a high fight IQ, but he also has a body that, like Emmett Smith, a body that over repeated outings can withstand the wear and tear and has attained mastery of the sport. Now, there's a guy who asked me at jiu-jitsu yesterday. He's like, "Man, Eugene, I'm really fucked up. What do I?" I said, "How do you train when you're really fucked up? Maybe I should just take some time off." Your training are a collection of moments whereby you cater to your injuries, and only in that way do you attain mastery of the sport. You can't bully your body. Oh, your leg hurts? Fuck you. We're gonna go. And my leg hurts even more. I spend my days, my nights, all of my jiu-jitsu time catering to those injuries. My right hamstring hurts. How can I maximally use my hamstring without getting to the part where it hurts? How can I get through a session without it hurting? Head game, it intersects. Head game, body game, they're connected. But because none of this happens without the do-re-mi, as grass and cash, nobody's riding for free. The business game is a super huge aspect. It's rare that you get all three working at the same time. For example, the Diazes. You're going to laugh to hear me say this, but the Diazes had ultimate head game. Both Nick and Nate understood that the moment a contract is signed, the fight has begun. You've heard me tell many a time the fighters meeting at Strikeforce when Nick was fighting for Strikeforce and he's mad dogging some guy in his division across. The fight has already begun. We already signed. If you want fake shit, go to Hollywood. This is not fake shit. You were the guy who is now trying to take food off my plate. And whether or not Nick believes it, I don't know. But it behooves him to understand that the fight has begun as soon as he signs, because the head game. The body game is what's happening when he's riding his bike 26 miles, swimming for 20 miles, running these triathlons where he's fighting and training several times a day. That's what's happening then. But the third part of the troika, the business game, was never there for the Diazes. When you have the bald one, BO, TBO, actively and aggressively pursuing counter commercial interests of theirs. Oh, they don't move the needle. They don't do this. They don't do that. You know, if you say stuff long enough, it becomes true. Fortunately, at the time, they had a guy named Kogan on their side who called bullshit on that. Is that what you call not moving the needle? You got to understand. Kibono, follow the money. Who benefits? Who benefits when the bald one says they don't move the needle? If they said nothing about cash, he would say these guys move the needle because the delta doesn't have to be addressed. I make so much more money when you fight. Good for you to not care enough and let me take it all. It's rare. It is rare that you get people who are paying attention to all three. It is super rare. On to the fights. UFC 210. Now I'm reading and I'm taking it in, and everybody's trying to figure out post-event, was this a good drug or was this a bad drug? And I'm here to unequivocally tell you that this was a good drug. Some of you are saying, "Oh, it's nights like this that make me feel glad I didn't spend the $60." Well, I didn't spend $60. I spent $10 to get into a wine bar to watch it. But the benefit of watching it in the wine bar is that they blast the speaker so I could hear all of the stuff I needed to hear. I wouldn't have watched it anywhere else, not like I had anywhere else to watch it. And I know you want me to start with the last fight, but I can't. I cannot. I'm going to start with the co-main event, Mousasi and Chris Weidman. You know, Chris Weidman, the titular general of the Lost Battalion. Mr. Woodpile himself, play Misty for him. All he is mist in the wind, the embodiment of mist, the chopper on the island. He has done something that was damn near impossible, I thought. You want to talk about Uriah Faber? That chick is pretty tough, but you're in the Hall of Fame. This is permanent emplacement in the Lost Battalion. something that really, some guy was on the Twitter. He was like, what does the mist mean? I go, you guys got to explain it to him. I didn't have time. I was winding up. So let me explain to you what happened. Head game, body game, business game. Now, Weidman going into this is thinking about his head is attached to his head game is attached to his business game. And he's thinking about first he's telling you he sees himself as Rocky. Then he's telling you he was going to move out so he could train, so he could be selfish and focus on this fight. Then he realizes all of what I got from being in the situation that I'm not going to stay. I mean, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to stay. I'm going to stay in the house, but I'm going to stay in my old room. But I'm going to stay here. I got to tell my wife, because I can't be chasing the kids around. I got to focus. I got to sleep. I got to eat. I'm going to stay here and be selfish. That's the tip of a much more gooned out iceberg. He gave us a brief peek inside this window. He let us see the window in his head. In which case, the business game is kicking his fucking ass. He's thinking about the house. He's thinking about the wife. He's thinking about the kids. He's thinking about the kids' schooling. He's thinking about the kids' college. He's thinking about the kids' summer camp, kids' shoes, kids' clothes, kids' doctor visits. He's thinking about a new patio out back. He's thinking about a lot of things. All predicated on the horrible scenario, what if? Very specifically, business game, what if I lose? You know, it's one thing to say it very academically, to know that two people go in, one person comes out with something, the other person comes out with a certain amount of happiness, another person comes out with a certain amount of sadness. It seems arithmetically pretty solid. But as soon as you sign, the fight begins. And in the same way that you could overtrain your body, you know, you could also destroy your head. And God forbid you let the head game and the business game get together. I was booking high-powered national commercials before my head game and my business game got together. Now, my head game and my business game got together, and I realized, Jesus Christ, for 2 days of work on a Miller Genuine Draft commercial, I can make $150,000. My head game and my business game changed every audition after that to it's like a Coldplay song. It makes the first 20 seconds of a Coldplay song makes you feel like whatever you're doing is the most important shit in the world. But only for the first 20 seconds. Every audition at that point became the most important audition in the world because I knew it's $150,000. I'm walking in the door eating a fake dog chew toy hamburger for a Burger King commercial, knowing this could put $150,000 on the table, and I was completely discombobulated. Before I'd go in free and easy and relaxed, I love these hamburgers. God damn, they're great. After I realized how much I paid, I go, this is a great hamburger. It's great. Similarly, Chris Weidman is by the fucking woodpile. He's like, lost 2 fights. Jesus Christ, I lost 2 fights. What does this mean? Okay. I'm probably not going to lose a third one. Okay. Fuck that. Whatever. Okay, I got it. I'm going to any port in storm. I'm going to, I know I could. And at this point, now he's planning the road to Loserville. Because his woodpile is jealously guarded. And he's thinking about contingencies. He looked like shit going up. The weight cut wasn't bad, but he comes in and you could watch it. You could watch it. Watch it without the sound. You could, in fact, if there was a way, I think you could only do it with the corners if you watch it on Fight Pass. But if there was a way to set your screen so that you could only watch one fighter in exclusion of the other fighter, you were watching a man who's planning for loss. He came out, and we all knew this. Everybody knew this. He came out, and he took Mousasi down. And in his head, in the head game portion of the show, I could do this. I'm scoring points on this one. Mousasi pops up. Oh God. Can I hold him down? I'll loosen him up with some punches. And Mousasi's hands are fast. This is not gonna work. This goddamn is not gonna work. I'll take him down again. And you know, many would say, people I was sitting with in the wine bar are like, man, that first round was Weidman. Come on, Chris. These are the guys that were fucking super geeked when the worst Tom Petty song ever. I won't back down, and oh God, Boja Moy, stop with that cornball shit. There's not only me, why the UFC hate him. So now he's shaky. Again, if you're watching the singular cam, you're watching a guy, you're watching this. You're watching, for those of you listening, I'm shaking now you're watching tentative. Not quite sure. There's some guys who need, again, providence. They need 100 times out of 100, they need the French to say nothing when you start to rearm before they step ahead. And he's not getting what he needs. And I got to tell you, last fight on the contract, he's not the only one in that cage who's going on fumes and nerves. Mousasi was more nervous than I've ever seen him. His last fight, because he's doing the same thing, head game and body game. My last fight on my contract, I need a new contract. I need to get paid more. Nobody's going to give me more if I fucking lose this fight. Nobody. So the outcome of this fight determines how well I'm going to eat for the foreseeable future. All of a sudden, you're not, that the body goes along completely maybe incidental at this point. You know, you're showing up at training, but, you're driving to training thinking, man, this SUV sure is fucking nice. Whoever thought that I'd be able to buy a $70,000 car? I don't know if I'll be able to do that again. So he's tense, but you got to know that he's tense and angry, which is different from being tense and nervous. At one point when I was a kid, my mom said, stop it, you're making me nervous and jittery. I go, what does jittery mean? I must have been 7 years old. She goes, well, it means nervous. And I go, so I'm making you nervous and nervous? Yeah, a guy like me had to learn how to fight. So at a certain point, okay, I can't win this just by taking him down, especially when at some point somebody's going to notice as soon as I take him down, I can't hold him down. So then I start to get fractional points. What first round was maybe 1 point, getting into the rounds, it's a fractional point. I mean, I know judges don't work that way, but you know what I mean. So then he gets hit by Mousasi. Everybody knows Mousasi's an assassin. He's afraid. He does this thing with the hands, forgetting the rule change. He sees Mergliata run over, and it's like Providence. Providence opens up, and Chris Weidman goes soccer player. Did you see him? He's on the mat. He's going, I got. Soccer player. Fortunately, the UN was there, vis-a-vis Joe Rogan. He yanks Ratner over. They go through the rule set. Mergliata wasn't supposed to. There's no replay rule. His ruling should have stood. He consults with John McCarthy. John McCarthy said, I looked at the replay, and right then the production truck kicks on the Jumbotron, repeated viewings of the hand down, the hand up, the hand down, the hand up. Pull them up, hand up, The doctor comes in because Misty Woody is doing. It's a semaphore of suckertude. I make a gif of that, and he doubles down. The doctor comes over and says, you know, how you doing? What day is it? I don't know. Oh, you don't know. I can't see it. Now he's hoping for, again, head game, business game. He's hoping for a DQ or a point deduction. By hook or fucking crook, I'm not giving up on $70,000 SUVs and private school for my kids. Fuck you. I'm not going to do it. I'm not giving up. I'm going to any port in the storm. I'm getting out of this thing. Hook or crook, I'm going by crook. So once the doctor's in there, it gives them time to, they're viewing it. They're showing it again and again. At this point now, under normal circumstances, think about if it had been a knee to the groin or a kick to the groin. They give the dude 5 minutes, but nobody after a kick to the groin is going. I've only seen one fight, and I think it was Krokop, where a kick to the groin actually was so bad. They put the guy on, Krokop was on the ground, and they were massaging his abdomen, trying to get the testicles to redescend because they had been kicked up inside his body cavity. That's how fucking disgusting that was. That dude could not continue. But in general, they give you time to air it out. You're back to fighting. The doctor's in, addressing the guy, saying he's concussed. People are booing Mousasi. Mousasi, class act that he is. His team is celebrating. What are you fucking celebrating that for? Stop it. They're waving the flag. Stop it. I had my win snatched away from me. And then the saddest bit of MMA video that anybody has ever, close to being the saddest bit of video that anybody, I'm sure there are other runners. Wes Sims talking about living under bridges, Chris Lieben, but this was the saddest post-fight in-cage footage ever. And the UN was there. It's like in Darfur, man. Joe Rogan was like, let's talk to Chris. Chris is like, you know, illegal knees. In fact, it wasn't illegal. Let's watch the film. And to watch Chris busted up nose, but he's like, oh, I guess it wasn't illegal. He goes, Miragliata shouldn't have stopped it. You mean Miragliata shouldn't have stopped what was going to be a savage beating of me on the ground? I guess I overplayed my hand there. And a wave of mist and sorrow came from it. It felt like to me like I was watching some sort of like X-Men villain, like the guy Cyclops. I didn't close the door, so Popeye came in. He came in and he farted. And it was heavy. It was, and I was heavy and riveting. I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. Because you do realize that this man is dead. Because if you thought that the head game and the business game were conspiring in a heavy way, now you got a guy in an organization that didn't love him before WME, that most certainly, because of the low Q rating, probably doesn't love him now on a 3-fight losing skid, plus this act of legerdemain that stunk to high heaven and everybody saw immediately through, despite the profusion of mist. And you got a guy who's quantifiably expired. Expired. You tell me who he's going to fight to get his confidence back. You tell me who that person would be. because you can't make it obvious. Look at the rankings. It can't be somebody who's 15 to 20. Guys who are 10 to 15 are going to try to kill you. And guys who are, 5 to 10 pretty much realize it's a life or death situation. They absolutely cannot. You might get the drop on somebody who's 1 to 5, who's being super cautious because they're so close to the strap that they want to do something strappy. Oh, I had something else to do today. It was to get him his shots, and I forgot. Man, I suck, Popeye. Sorry, man. Hope you don't get heartworm in the next week. Yeah. Popeye sighting. I gotta piss. I gotta piss. I gotta piss and I gotta poop. Stop the show. These people. Sit out. They don't fuck stuff. Get out. Now get out. Come on, come on, come on. Okay, now sit down. He's like, get out, sit down, sit down, get out. What the fuck? Go down, down. Sit, sit, sit. So Weidman is standing there watching all this shit go by, and it's like, hello, Mr. Mild. Hello, Woodpile, my old friend. I guess I'm seeing you again. It was fucking sad, man. I think probably the only other thing I've seen that made me more sad in recent memory is for the camera to be scanning the stands and to see Mike Goldberg there. In the stands. That shit was fucked up. I like Anik, but, that was a cosmetic change. I don't know what the hell they were thinking. I really hope Bellator hires him. So that's it. That's it. He's going to appeal. That shit didn't roll out of his lips before that. I think that was kind of kiboshed. Not only, and then as a favor and swayed by the evening and the moment, Mousasi goes, I'll give him his rematch. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'll give him his rematch when he shows me he's beating somebody else in the top 5. And then it's worthwhile. Until then, it's not worthwhile for me. Unless we're going to come back to New York and fight, nobody anywhere else in the world gives a fuck about Chris Weidman. And that's a hard fucking reality. God damn it, that's hard. That is hard shit. I mean, you didn't think the Lost Battalion was a place of jokes, did you? You think it was a place of jokes? Jokes and laughter? Nah, man, it's a desolate look. You know what I was thinking about? Okay, I'm a healthily agnostic, but you gotta understand, these are thought issues. And if you're people's demonology and there's angelology, they're angelologists, and they're all listed. These names are all listed. And one of the noteworthy things about demons and angels, which is the same thing. They were intercessors, interceders between the divine and the human. Whether you talk about Greek tradition or Roman tradition, Apollo carrying messages, interceding with human activity. I remember at one point reading some minister saying that you got to understand when God looks at you, he sees the child you were. And you don't understand that until you're a parent. My kid's almost 21, walking around, driving, doing whatever, getting tattoos and piercing, being a teenager, kid. I look at her and I see a baby. Because I remember them coming out of their mother's vagina. Angels and demons, they have a benefit. Without corporeal shape or figures, they have not exposed to death, and outside of time and space, you could say that they have a long view. But it turns out, it dawns on me that demons have the exact opposite thing. The angels will look at you and see the innocent child that you once were. And people go, want to throw the devil's high. The devil, the thing that bad people do that puts me out more than anything else is they abuse the innocent. And fundamentally, that's because demons, they look at the children and they see the humans you become. Bringing us back to, if you had a chance to kill a baby Hitler, would you have? You would have been an infanticide. In any case, it bespeaks of an aggressive disregard for humans and human activity. So Chris Weidman, in this instance, looked at his future, and in an attempt to avoid that future, willed that future upon himself. The thing he most feared and was most concerned about, he jumped into with both fucking feet, and it's a vertigo that will last forever. I don't see how he gets out. Now, he might have a lucky turn of phrase, but what he's done is aggressively play himself. This soccer player move, you know what? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what he was thinking. I was not paying attention to Sarah and Longo. But at this point now, the glacial silence from Long Island tells you all you need to know. And depending on how much they pay Mousasi, he'll either be kindly disposed to doing a rematch, which is a good fight. I would pay to see the rematch. But again, he opened the door. If Mousasi Monday, if he's smart, he's bringing in a and I imagine he already did this, he's bringing in a high caliber wrestler just to even take away those two brief moments of success that Weidman had. Gonski. That was sad shit, but it was good sad shit. By which I mean, it didn't make me feel like I wasted the $10 I paid to watch the fight. DC, however, seems like he finally embraced this idea that you're not gonna like me, and in embracing that, he instantaneously became much more likable. He said, "You boo me, I'm cashing checks and taking home belts." Instantaneously, you know what? There's certain cultures, Australia, the UK, where they take the piss out of you, and your quality of your quality as a stand-up type of guy is completely contingent on how well you deal with that. Now, for example, Oxbow's guitar player Nico is one of those guys that he comes from actually a family of really, I don't hate to use the word overly sensitive because it's usually typically used by people who are undersensitive, but the word huffy comes to mind. Easily put out. But if you go into these majority male environments, sports teams, prison, the army, there's a harrowing that occurs, a testing period that occurs where people are a jiu-jitsu academy, where people will love it. Like I told some guy who I was making fun of, so when you got to worry, when I stop making fun of you. Because it means that I believe you're so irredeemably fucked up that I can't. It's like kicking somebody when they're down. Can't do it, which is a really good time to kick them, but I won't do it. Well, actually, I will do it if it's a street fight, but you know what I mean. The moment, and so if you have a public figure who has that kind of relationship, when I could see Josh Koscheck was really bothered by the fact that people were booing him, it's like, man, you got to get your inner fucking punk rocker out, your inner Sid Vicious. Like, yeah, you don't like me? No matter how much you don't like me, it's a drop in the ocean of how much I hate you. My first Whipping Boy show ever, I had 600 people fucking throwing garbage at me, booing me. I went, I hate you. He finally embraced it, and like instantaneously, everybody in Buffalo was like, he became likable. And all that shit, he played it. It was like the dulcet tones. It was the most beautiful symphony, post-fight symphony ever. Get your academics in shape. We'll see you back in class when you're ready. He did that shit in Buffalo and had converts. You know, hey, city memories are short, man. As far as what the fuck do we know about Johnny Boney Joni? Dude lives in New Mexico, where he hasn't cut loose the mini mart guy. He hasn't changed his background. And like DC said it best, who the fuck celebrates a guy getting off probation who should be in rehab by partying down? Who the fuck does that? Guys who don't give a fuck about your well-being. You are not surrounding yourself with people who love you. People who love you do not have you do this. You know Bukowski. I'm hemorrhaging blood. I've been drinking too much whiskey. All right, I'm only going to drink beer. Well, that actually worked for him. So DC pulled an active, and he framed it in the most direct. I think him spending time as a commentator has sharpened him. Steel against steel, and he put that shit in a framework that leaves Johnny Boney Joni kind of mystified. I don't mean MYS. I mean MIS. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. A little disrespect. Because what he said is, if nothing ever happens to me again, if I do not fight another minute in the UFC, I'm happy with what I've done. I held the belt. I successfully defended the belt. I earned the belt, therefore earned the belt that I have. I've made tons of money. My head's okay and my body is fine. Winner. And if you don't think the commentating has made us feel better about him, then you're wrong. See Kurt Gowdy get up and do some of that shit. You don't see it. Brent Musburger. You don't see it. Don't know if the guy's Q rating. You know, there's some guys that you look at and you say, oh my God, who's it? Dude, somebody was just saying Krzysztof Szynski was in some movie in Logan. Right when I texted that I was on my way from not training but running. I went running, went over to the gym, did some 20 minutes on the treadmill. I'm looking up at the Food Network on the screen. Oh my God, it's PVZ. What the hell is Paige Van Sant doing on the Food Network? WME, baby. Certain things, certain types. You don't necessarily want to see DC in a movie, but you want to see DC be in DC because he's got that good energy. Success breeds confidence, confidence breeds success, and now you love this guy. On to the alleged wife beater, Rumble, who I did not pick. Early on in the fight, my picks, I don't remember, my picks sucked, but we're not going to get to these because both of these fights, the co-main and the main, have eaten up all the oxygen in the room. If you follow the tweets, you know that I like Cavillo. Some of you are texting me going, what is the Baldwin doing all this big up in Weidman versus Sylvia 3? Yeah. No. Nah, nobody wants to see that. I think you mean not Sylvia, not Tim Sylvia, but you mean Silva. Would that get him his mojo back? That would not. Weidman versus Anderson Silva 3 would not get his mojo back. He beats Anderson Silva again. That makes us hate him and feel sorry for them both. It's like, you don't believe me? How about this? Tito and Ken Shamrock 3. How do you feel? Yeah, exactly. Just like that. No, but Anderson Silva, he was saying misty shit too after his last fight. Dude is not back, will never be back. But it seems like he's on the edge of realizing what that means. I got a very specific lane here. And I can stay in this lane. Silva against Chuck Liddell. Oh, my God, I would love that. MMAARP, buddy. Liddell has no job. Got to eat. They keep buying those $70,000 SUVs, or in my case, paying tax bills. But Rumble, the alleged wife beater, a girlfriend beater, a domestic violence abuser, the rumor mill and my spies are working overtime. Somebody is telling me he's got a job with the Rams. What the hell? Here, and Mr. the D-Man said, this is insightful, so I'm just going to read it as it's written. Weidman was lost battalion in the most effective manner ever. He lost in a way that he could make a legitimate, non-misty woodpile argument to where he could have won. However, he was also getting killed to the point where you knew what was going to happen. He's dead, but he's fresh enough to where he can make a good faith argument he was jobbed. He is Sisyphus. Sisyphus. If you don't know what that means, look it up. Goddamn right. Now, Rumble, I don't know what kind of job he could have. It's clear that his corner did not know this was happening. It's clear the only time I've seen a guy's corner disappear that quickly is Cesar Gracie with Guy Castillo. Guy Cabrera. I can't remember what guy had a guy on his team named Guy, and he was screaming at him between first and second round. You got to think about your life. You got to get your fucking priorities straight. And then the guy fought the second round, goes back to his corner, and Caesar and the other coaches are gone. It's like, you're not going to get me out there and shame me. Is there a reason why Rumble fought the exact opposite of a fight that he should have fought? Is there a reason? I can't find anybody. It's like the homeless guy in an earthquake. I'm living in the refrigerator box under the freeway. Refrigerator box under the freeway. Here I am under the freeway in a refrigerator box. There's an earthquake, fires, explosions. People are now on the streets. Oh, now I got a PhD. I'm going to fight, and people like that fight. That was where. So now suddenly I'm a PhD in paranoia. Again, head game, body game, business game. What kind of job? You don't understand. This guy's been doing this. He was training at Kung Lee's when my kid was, I'm talking about Rumble in this instance, when my oldest kid was maybe 11. She is now almost 21. And he had come there already having competed. Add in high school wrestling. Dude's been doing this since he's 14. He's 33. Have you had any jobs for 20 years? I love weightlifting. I don't even think I've lifted weights for 20 years straight. Well, yes, I have. Tired. And tell him where the road turns. He's also got a weak head. So whether it's collusion or collision, it doesn't make a difference to me. Whether he pulls a raging bull and he's taking a dive for reasons unknown, he just, fuck it. I knew I'm gonna leave. I actually don't want to leave with the belt because they're gonna try to make me stay. I cap my career. I could end it now. He pulled a Jim Brown at 33. I don't know where the rumor came that he's going to the Rams, but that's the rumor that I'm getting. What the hell is he doing with the Rams? Strength coach? Conditioning? What? Nothing that anybody on this team couldn't do. But you know what people on this team can't do? They can't fight in the cage, maybe. But it doesn't make a difference because I don't want to see anybody doing something that they don't want to do. You know who really wanted to do something that they were doing and just not doing it well? Patrick Cote. Surprise? Dude smelt what The Rock was cooking. He looked terrible. Should have retired. Wanted to have a good time. Like Colonel Kurtz. Want to go out like a warrior, not some wasted loser on a shield. So Rumble leaves, and when Rumble leaves the room, all of a sudden the Baldwin and everybody else, Sean Shelby, also known as Keith, looks in the room and realizes there's not really anybody in the room except for, that guy with smoking weed over there, Johnny Boney, hanging out with the street overlord. Jesus Christ. What are we gonna do? Jimmy Manning was oh yo, really? I'm one punch. Get the fuck. Just shut up. Just shut up. Just shut up. He's too nice of a guy. DC didn't say, hey, just sit down and shut the fuck up. Go back to England, please. They need you. Help with the Brexit. You just get the fuck out of here. Beat somebody before you come flapping your jaws at me. See, DC is a nice guy. God forbid I should have been in his position. I'd have said some shit that would make people want to kill me. He did kind of. He started in on Johnny Boney Joni about penis pills. Hey, you know what? Take penis pills. Johnny Boney Joni's trying to own it. So, yeah, I took Cialis. It was great. It was whatever, man. The less I think about Johnny Boney Joni's penis, the happier I am. Johnny Boney Joni's bony. Don't want to think about it. Don't want to think about it. Just like I don't want to think about Pearl Gonzalez's boob job. I don't want to sexualize my fighters. Don't want to do it. All right, if that's your thing, good for you. I don't. I won't talk about her boob job. I got to see her get choked out. And people are like, why are they making such a big deal about Cavillo? Because Cavillo is it. You don't understand. For those of us who've been following this game for a long time, there was a time when Conor McGregor was not Conor McGregor. And there he was. Head game, body game, business game. Stars align, and all of a sudden, you can see this great shine. The bald one realizes that. The rest of us who are not hearing the dog whistle, like, what? She's gonna get wiped on her ass wiped by anybody in the top 5. No, really? Because that's what we care about, right? We care about the top 5. We care Larry Holmes. Care about Larry Holmes? We don't care about the top 5. You know, we care about a Betchko Hale with the little dance, you know? We care about the guy with the walk, you know? It's showtime. And if I'm going to sacrifice a Saturday night, I'm going to sacrifice a Saturday night for something that I can leave, and I feel like that had a fucking kick to it, man. That was all right. So we have Pascal's wager for Rumble. And here we go. Rumble took a dive. Rumble didn't take a dive. Rumble, I should have drawn this out in a piece of paper. So he knowingly, well, a dive implies that he knowingly. So we don't even have 4 quadrants of this. So Rumble, again, it has to do with conditionality. So Rumble says to himself, if I win this fight, I'll stay. If I lose this fight, I'll go. And then he goes, if I lose this, if I'm not winning this fight, I'll start to lose this fight so I can go. And if I'm winning this fight, in a way that I can't comfortably seem like I'm losing it, then I'll stay. There we go. Those are our 4 quadrants. He tried what everybody expected him to do, come out strong, come out hard, come out heavy. Didn't work. Man, I got 5 rounds of this. We don't know what his training was like. Maybe he didn't do the cardio. Maybe he wasn't going to be ready. Maybe he knew going deeper to the 4th or 5th round was going to end in a humiliating defeat. Or maybe I can't imagine that somebody's giving him more money than he was making at the UFC to do anything that he could do. I can't imagine that this is a part of a more sophisticated business game that involves militating for a higher paycheck down the road. It didn't seem to have that business acumen to me. I expected him to say that he was going to answer a higher calling, and that he was going into the ministry, that he was going to pull a Mace, that he was going to pull a Little Richard, that he was leaving behind the sinful world of hurting people, and he was going to step into the newfangled world of Christian ministry. That's what I expected to say, actually. But the reality of it is, like Kurt Cobain, and people inside the fence said, dude absolutely didn't kill himself. If a guy who is suicidal, multiple heroin overdoses, gets shot in the head, people are not going to look too hard for the perpetrator. If I start talking about how depressed I am right now and I want to kill myself and then I end up dead, fundamentally people are like, I don't give a fuck about that. The guy wants to die anyway. What? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Let him, he's dead, let him be dead. So, in other words, he's fighting. He already lost to DC once. Like DC said, I'm the kid in your bracket that you can't get away from. In other words, what I'm saying is, all of you trying to build a head of steam about him possibly taking a dive, it doesn't matter. It absolutely does not matter. He lost to this guy legitimately once. And I think it was conditional in the same way that the rearming of Germany after World War I was conditional. Let's see what the French do. We're going to open up these factories and start building armaments again. Let's see what they do. I'm going to step in this cage. I'm going to try to take this guy's head off. Let's see what happens. A DC with a magical towel. I got a lot of guys who are getting overheated about the towel thing. For that trick to actually work, nobody's using a towel to get with it. Who is Khabib was 5 pounds within making weight, is not using any towel. You're not taking that towel's not taken off. They kind of taught that the towel would have to be to get the whole 5 pounds off that scale. There's nothing but. So in other words, look, the guy's a pound over. Yo, Eugene, your flexible moral code. Fuck that. Fuck that. Come on. I don't give a shit. The dude's 38 years old. Give him a break. He did something Cyborg did. He said, look, it could hurt my health if I get down this low. Got down this low. His kidneys are already sort of damaged from the up and down from the Olympic weight. Leave dude be. I'm not Towelgate, so he cheated. Yeah, I really don't care. He also got his nose broken. And anywhere that weight could have come in handy when he's got the double underhooks and he's just hanging on him like a Christmas tree ornament, that was dude's own fault. So I think he started to I think Rumble started to rearm, and the French kicked up a little resistance and he folded. Like Chardet said, touch him and he folds. What's left for him? I predict he's back like everybody else. Dude wants to change your pace. You know what? There's certain jobs that you never get very far from. You know how many porn stars I know? You know how many porn stars I know who have quit porn? You know how many porn stars I know who quit porn and realize that compared to porn, real life is a fucking drag? You think Mr. Marcus wants to go back to work at Home Depot? No. They don't call him a porn star at Home Depot. Call him Jesse. Get the aisle 5 spill. You think Jules Jordan wants to go back to mopping jizz out of boots in Philadelphia? No. Ashley? Back there, he's Ashley. In Hollywood, Jules Jordan. Nobody ever wants to go back. They think they do. They don't. Real life, as those of us who live it can testify, is a fucking drag. It is a total fucking drag. Black Flag said it best in their song Clocked In. Rumble, after 6 months of 9 o'clock meetings, will discover whatever he's chosen to do, he'll be itching to come back. It's a good strategy for him. What was he going to do? Stick around and what? Fight Mano again? What? Be the warm-up fight for Johnny Boney Joni? Not going to happen. Hang with Gustafson again? Beat him already. What he's doing is a GSP style, need a vacation. Let him take his vacation. But I guarantee you, no job will deliver the same kind of kick. I'm interested to see what that job is, but no job will deliver the same kind of kick that, 20,000 people screaming your name will. But, I'm sure he won't miss training 3 times a day, 5 times a day, 4 times a day, 6 days a week. eating like a worm. I'm sure he won't miss this. So this is UFC 210. And I could go on another hour. I'm not going to do that. There are other fights on the card that I wanted to address, but I had to say, because I could feel people building a head of steam. The Rumble thing, not significant. Sad to see him go. Yes, I am, but it's still not significant. The DC win thing, significant. Like he says, if I never do anything else again, I'm fine. Mystifying Johnny Boney Joni, who, based on my spies, hasn't changed enough so that I'm feeling comfortable to do what other people have gone on and said, I'll believe it. I think David Doyle, who's largely full of shit. Sorry, Dave. Sorry, man. That whole thing that you did, I was with you. I was with you. I was reading your piece and I was with you, Dave Doyle. And then you said some crap in there about invalidating Mousasi's win, and it seemed to me that you were clinging to Island Chris Weidman's nuts, and I couldn't countenance that. But DC never does anything again. But like from my spies say I think David Doyle was the one who said, I'll believe it when I see the cage close behind Johnny Boney Joni and he's staring across the cage from somebody else. Based on my spies, I gotta say, I love the guy, can't invest. Absolutely can't invest. Don't trust him enough. Kids are ministers. Ministers' kids. Preacher's son. Dusty Springfield. Whatever. So there you go. There you go. I mean, Mousasi and Weidman, big deal for Mousasi. Weidman, none more misty. And then I didn't care about Bibliatov, but I suspected he would win, and he did win. Several of you shit on Kachugian. I picked her because I want to write an article on her, and she did win as well. I didn't care about Josh Emmett, Desmond Green. Gillespie and Holbrook. Apparently these were good fights. I haven't seen that one. I was on my way to the wine bar. Blachowicz and Cummins. Cummins has got a good look now. Looks like Bronson. I think he's there to stay. Likes it. Likes doing that more than any desk job he can do. Wise stuff. I made fun of Burgos for saying I want my 50 G's, but he got his 50 G's. So who's got the egg on his face now? Strickland and Usman. Strickland, bad. He's got a black guy. Usman, feather in his cap. But, yo, bro, you talking about, making the gesture around your waist for the things, for the belt, the things with the belt with the things. Why don't you finish, dude, in the third round? I know he's plenty of tough guy, but you're one of those guys that now we've gotten attuned. You got a taste for you in your mouth. It's the whole GSP thing. Don't be playing the numbers on us. If you got a chance to put a guy, I really want to put him away. Saying it is so does not make it so. I'm sure you did, but you didn't. We are basing you on your standard. So, Usman, yeah, he's I don't know what I was thinking with Mike De La Torre. I don't know. But Miles Jury had been sliding. He had been sliding. It wasn't a stupid pick. I think I picked that one. And I think I picked Charles Oliveira. I think I picked Will Brooks over Charles Oliveira and had my party shit on. But I did pick Alves over Cote. And I didn't care about Cavillo and Gonzalez, but I knew Cavillo. I liked her jiu-jitsu, and I think she does have it. And you're going to see more of her. And then everything else we talked about. So I'm sorry to go over, 4 minutes over. All 96 of you hung out. That's cool. On Tuesday of this week, I believe we have If I Did It. And if there's a fight next weekend, we got the Care Don't Care preview. You also realize that I'm going on the Oxbow tour. Those of you overseas who want to come to the Oxbow shows, the listeners of the show, fighters and fight fans, any place Oxbow goes, you got a free entree. Don't believe so? There are plenty of people who have come. Roma Raider, seen him several times at events. He doesn't even have to pass a quiz anymore. He passed the one quiz, so I know he's not bullshitting. Mark D, several of you who listen to the show. So like I said, Whether you're in Italy, whether you're in Denmark, whether you're in Germany, whether you're in France, we're coming to see you over the next couple of weeks. We're going to be there. I'm actually going to take a vacation from the show for real, maybe. No, I probably am. But doesn't stop you from coming to see me wherever. If you want to go to the Oxbow Facebook page, you can have the whole listing there of where we're going to be. We're going to be in, it's all over England as well. So you guys should show up and hang out backstage and do whatever. Don't steal my stuff. That's it. That's all I got to ask. So this is round number 270. I'm your host, Eugene Suspicious Robinson. Sign up for the Twitter thing. I've opened up to everybody. You don't have to. I don't have to pass a quiz to do that. At Eugene S. Instagram is still Mr. Sleep 3. If you don't have any posts, I think you're a spy. I don't let you in. And don't do that thing like I got to approve you first. Nah. That's not the way it works. I got to look inside your little world and then I let you in. That's how it goes. If you want a free for all, that's Twitter. And the show is done. No, round number 270. We're getting close. We're getting close. Anyway, we'll see you soon. I'm Eugene S. Robinson. Look what you made me do!